Yo, hello, testing, testing. How you doing, my friends? Why do I hear myself? Because we're testing, that's why. Yo, hello, hello. I'm testing. We are live on Twitch, YouTube, and I'm going live on TikTok as we speak. Okay. Please help me checking out. Perfecto. Someone let me know on TikTok. Richie, and when you tell me, I launch Twitter. Yeah, so everything's working out. Now we just have to wait for Eduardo. And I'll be here playing some music for you while we start. So chill. Let's bring everyone in the house. Everyone. I want the family. I want the friends. I want the tribe. I want the girlfriends, the boyfriends, the pets, everyone in here. So let's make it happen. Don Eduardo, what's up?
Hey man, how's it going?
Very good, very good. We're just waiting for people. 5 minutes. We're gonna let people in and get ready to listen. Just so you know, we're streaming on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter Spaces at the same time. So
Jesus
we
Christ.
have, yeah, we have audiences in several places. But dude, this is just like us, having a beer, like sitting in that old house and playing Counter Strike and catching up after many years of not talking. That's the whole idea of this conversation. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, sure. We can keep it very, very easy going. And well, thank you for inviting me. That's really nice. And I'm just curious, like, where are the listeners coming from? I'm based in Singapore, so is anyone here in Southeast Asia or around this area? So
Pretty
just
much
curious.
everyone, dude. Pretty much everyone in here is from Southeast Asia.
Oh, oh, that's pretty rad.
Yeah, in our community, I think there's more than 300 people from Southeast Asia. So it's
Wow,
Indonesia, Philippines.
wow, nice.
Where else? Where else? You can chat. You can chat like in here. So
Hmm.
there's a chat up in the right, and we can see like people.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah. So
okay.
we also have people from Nigeria. We have people from
Oh,
Algeria. We have people from Romania, from the States, from Venezuela. I
nice.
see JD is from Venezuela.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, we Costa Rica, Mexico. I think it's pretty much the whole world, bro.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually not very active in social media. Like I mean, Discord is probably like sometimes it's for work, but I just sometimes go in and just check some stuff here and there. But I'm pretty new on this, man. Like there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, 1 month you stop doing this, and like maybe in 1 month it's gonna be like chatting in with virtual glasses, and you never know.
No, you're not. No, and it is going at in such a fast pace. Like technology is going so fast now, bro. That is like you take your time to learn something,
Yeah,
and then it's
yeah.
like, shit.
That's all, man.
Yeah, I know. But what social media do you use besides LinkedIn?
Yeah, well, so socially speaking, I think LinkedIn is more like well, I mean, it's just to do networking, like professional networking. And well, I mean, I don't have much time, to well, navigate through Twitter or Instagram. I mean, it different platforms, they have different purposes, and they have different like goals, right? I mean, you go like Twitter, you must be more into the NFT, Web3 kind of stuff, right? And you have to be there all the time. You have to constantly just check. So it's like, oh, this is taking a lot of time, and I mean, you wish you want to multitask, but at the end of the day, you have to you have to focus on whatever you're doing, and unless it's like I don't know, like managing accounts or anything else, I think it's going to take a lot of your time. So I was like, oh, it's too many platforms now. I mean, it's Twitter now, Discord now, Instagram, TikTok, and then who knows, right? It's a lot of stuff.
But dude, you're at such a level. Two things here. Like one of the ideas of Web3 is
Mm.
decentralizing and sharing. So an artist like you, dude, I bet you like in 2 seconds you will have people helping with Twitter, with TikTok, with Discord, with everything, and you just make everyone partner on the project, and you all walk together. You're such a great artist that I guess it will take you like 30 seconds to find like a killer team, bro,
Oh,
to
that
help you
yeah,
do that so you can focus on your art.
yeah. Well, I mean that definitely sounds is amazing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I'm not ignoring the fact that those platforms and like those tools can enhance the way how you produce not art, I mean content as a whole thing, right? I mean, but of course you need the time, right? I mean, you need to stop doing what you're doing, and then you need like really really good quality time to digest what's going on and to dive in the whole Web3 metaverse or whatever thing is going on there. Like, I know the surface. I just scratch the surface. It's like, oh, that's pretty awesome, right? But still a lot of technicalities. Still a lot of, like management and things there that here and there that you need to learn. And that's as everything, right? It's like, I mean, you learn a new environment, you have to adapt, you have to understand the language, you have to understand how that culture is going to work inside, and then you feel comfortable. It's more about like more feeling comfortable than acknowledging the potential of those tools. I definitely understand. I'm totally aware of that. But it's more about like, I may need maybe someone or something, or yeah, like just to help me a little bit understand this a little bit better, more in a human language, rather than like, oh, I need to navigate through these terms and this new, like like technicalities that I'm not familiar with. But again, it's as usual. It's always learning curves. The more that you learn, I mean, you can adapt that to your own work, and everyone can benefit from that. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, I know. It is kind of like a new life, a new way to go, a new path, and yes, definitely needs time, needs a lot of time. I'm gonna kick off our event right now, so I'm just gonna welcome everyone, introduce you, and then we start our conversation. Okay?
Sounds good.
Perfecto. Okay, so it is Monday. We're in March, new month, new things happening. We are here back in DEGA Talks. You know, we only bring amazing people. We only bring like incredible people to these talks that people that will inspire us, people we admire, people we love, that are our friends, that we know, that share our vibes, that are about tribal, that are about sharing, that are open, but they're incredible, talented human beings. And I'm really glad, really happy to be here today with my dear friend, someone that is doing one of the things I dreamt of doing in my life, and creating in a way that I would only dream of doing it, is Eduardo Pena. Eduardo Pena is a Colombian artist from Bogota who has hit the major houses for concept art, worked with major projects, major companies, major video games, major films, but he will tell us about it. We will talk about his journey, his creative process, how he sees life. How do you go from a developing country to conquer the stars around the world, and what does it take, and how is he seeing the future with AI and all these things. But uh, this is not for me, so this is for more for Edu. How can Edu? What's up? And how do you want me to call you? Chino Rino, Manchas, Edu? What do you prefer, bro?
Thank you, as usual for keeping myself in this creative environment. It's very nice to connect with you again and talk and share all these journeys. You can call me Ed. I think it's much easier for everyone from every corner in the world, so they don't have to like think too much about the accent or pronounce the R or so on. So just call me Ed. I think Ed is super easy. It's like it's yeah, it's much easier to pronounce.
Okay, so we're here with Ed, my friend. So,
Exactly.
dude, I'm gonna start asking questions, and I
Yeah,
love going deep.
got it.
I don't like charcos. I don't like how do you say that, puddles. I like
Yeah.
going deep and digging deep. And my first question is always this one: Who is Ed?
Well, Ed is a magician. Ed is a dreamer. Ed is a culture lover, right? I consider myself a visual polyglot, right? Like a polyglot is a person that can understand, embrace languages. Now, languages is a way how we express ourselves as humans, the way how we absorb reality as humans, and the way how we enjoy life as humans. I think that's in a nutshell what describes who I am, what I'm going to do, and what I will do.
Dude, a magician. What a beautiful word, bro. You're an alchemist. Oh, well, what kind of magician are you? Warlock, alchemist, or like what kind?
I think I'm an alchemist. I think if you say like warlock is probably utilizing the bad elements of to transform matter, right? If you check the ancient scriptures, a magician is someone that utilize, or alchemist is someone that understands nature and knows how to combine those elements for the good. An alchemist is only not for manipulating the elements; it's also to understand things within, right? The alchemist, the ultimate goal of alchemist is getting gold, right? People imagine that is gold is just like the currency or it's like the wealth. Actually, is the element of illumination, right? So when you reach that level, is a level of awareness, is a level of understanding, and I think only just from my personal experience, I can achieve that through creativity because that's the ultimate source that connect us as humans, and that's the way how we can relate that to our realities.
Dude, you just connected to my deepest self, bro, in a level you cannot understand. I know
Okay, bro.
the rabbit is here. He must be flipping because these are the kind of conversations we have, brother. And
Welcome to the hall, bro.
yes, dude, you nailed it. And I think I do think that if we can bring some of that spark and knowledge to the audience today, that's the greatest thing we can do with this talk, bro. Oh, I love you.
Definitely,
Oh my
definitely.
god.
No, I mean this is the kind of conversations that I like to. I mean, I like to go deep as well, because I mean we can go under the surface about like what we do for a living, and you talk to artists and so on, and we mostly associate that artists are just producing beautiful products, right? You can name like music or songs or pictures or poetry, whatnot, whatever, right? We just see the surface of that. But then when you just start digging deeper into the process, it's not just ABCD. It's not just like a linear process, a chronological process. It's like it's a process of a self-awareness. It's a process of learning things through life, through experience, through perceptions, emotions. Everything is involved there, right? Because we are humans, and we're very precious in the way how we see ourselves in reality. We're not just clocks in the machine, right? So we need to put like something of our own perceptions and emotions and dreams and ambitions into our goals, into our lives, into our reality, right? So, and I think art as a whole, because everyone can do art. Everyone is being designed by nature, and nature is able to produce art, right? Therefore we can be artists, but now we need to discover and unlock the consciousness, unlock the matrix, and understand what are the guidelines, not the rules, the guidelines for us to unlock those things of our heads, from our hearts, from our souls, and become one with everything, right? And you may think like, oh wow, this is going too deep, this is going too surreal, this is so crazy, this is just like I don't know, like weird stuff. But actually, it's very scientific, it's very grounded, it's very real, right? The problem is that we are too obsessed to, like focusing on what's going on or what's going to happen tomorrow, right? Instead of like, damn, what's going on now, right? Who am I right now? Who, like what I'm doing right now with myself, right? So this is like simple questions. That's what any human being should be doing, like just questioning things, right? Because we don't need the answers. We just the fact that we just question things allow us to think deeper, right? To observe, to analyze, to criticize, you know? So when we have this kind of like connection, you start seeing the world differently. You start appreciating things, subtleties, like simple things that start sparking your imagination. And actually, if you think about, you try to separate the words in three elements because actually the words are also magic, right? You have like my nation of magicians, right? That's why I say I'm a magician because I use the imagination. I live in the nation of magicians and applies in every language. You have like in French, in Spanish, Portuguese, imagination, or even in all languages, they have the same root. It's about creating images. It's about like having the image, having the magic inside of that. Because with magic you can create, right? So there's a lot of things when you start like stopping your speed of of your daily lives, and then you start like breathing for a while, and it's like, okay, what's going on there? Silence is good. Then your brain start connecting with the source, and then your imagination start kicking in.
Dude, it's like we've been reading the same stuff. We've been studying the same things. Dude, I am a nation. I am in the nation of alchemists also. I also consider myself an alchemist. And just so you know, what we're doing with DEGA, it really connects deeply with that because we really believe that being a creator and creating and imagination are the closest we can be to the source. And as you said, if we're created by creators or by a creator, like, and they did us, like a look-alike or something like that, what our expectation and our goal are is to create. It's to for us to be creators, for us to be a spark of that source, representatives of that. So yes, and right now what we're doing with that guy is building those tools, like technological infrastructure for people to be able to reach that level. It's like knocking down walls that society, systems, and everything put in place, which are not needed, in order to empower everyone and the universe to create. So, dude, what your words here right now, and I wish I could say we prepared this, go and connect like in so many fucking levels, bro. Like dude, it's amazing that I'm having this conversation. This means that I'm gonna have like the most amazing week of my life.
Oh, thanks, bro. Yeah, I think it's synchronicities, right?
Yeah,
Like something things happens for a reason. Maybe we're meant to talk about these topics here. People need to maybe listen to this, or maybe just probably like, huh, actually, I can think the same thing, right? So it's more about like this is not like weird stuff. This is something that connects to everyone.
I know, and it does on a deeper level. And as like the names I see, I don't see like the people on other social networks. I see the names in here. I know we're connected, and I know we're all like, oh my god. Maybe Dr. Sadek is saying like, oh, freak is crazy, but the rest of us, I'm just kidding, bro. But let's continue because I want people to know you. I want, dude, your journey has been amazing, and when I met you, my first words was like, "Whoa." That's when I met you. Like that. That's what I remember, and I do remember. First, I went to your office, and then we worked in the same office, and it was always wow, what the fuck. But where did you start, brother? Like, I want you to tell people how did you get into concept art, into art direction, and all those things? Because I know you came from video games, so I don't know. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh man, I mean, it's as usual, it's long journey, and as every personal journey, you have like obstacles, ups and downs, and but I mean, just going backwards, back in time, as when you talk to any artist, you have like the most of our origins or beginnings started when we were kids, right? We will have like anything like a pencil or marker or any utensil, just to like scribble things, like put stuff in the walls and papers, and I got influenced by that since my childhood, like constantly, like by TV, by comics, video games, like animation stuff. My dad was constantly supporting me, like just draw whatever you want, and I would just keep growing in that way. I was, like you go high school, and just like, yeah, you have to go through those subjects, you have to learn math, you have to learn biology, physics, and but I was still in that, like I was just drawing, man, like keep drawing and keep doing things just for imagination or just copying things from my favorite TV shows back then, and I just finished high school, and I just keep drawing, man. Like I was like everyone was very serious about like going to like career paths. Like, okay, drawing is over. You have to be more serious, but I was not believing in that. I was like, I just like wanna keep drawing for the rest of my life, man. I don't know what I have to do. I was not thinking too much about like being like I mean quote unquote like serious, you know, like oh okay this is the time of draw, and then I drop this, and then I need to become more serious. I was like, actually, I love this. I'm very serious of my career path. I want to become I want to become an artist, man. I want to do this for a living. I don't know what is that. I don't know if it's animator. I don't know if it's like movies. I didn't know anything back then. I was just like, I just feel that it's so nice and amazing to you know like to draw stuff. And of course, I wasn't good. I mean, I was like the typical young kid drawing things. But when I was watching those comics and I was watching those things in TV, I was like, damn, that's amazing, man. And it still amazes me until now. But the way how I see these books, the way how I look at those comics back then, I was like, how the hell these people do this? This is mind blowing. I need to learn that. I don't if these guys they have two hands, they have 10 fingers. I have the same thing. I can do it. So I was committed to learn no matter how, no matter what, to learn how these guys did it. You know, like fan of this manga comics, you know, like manga and comics and bande dessinée in France, right? So you have a lot of influences from different cultures. And back then, of course, no internet, right? So you just go to a you know like a very fancy bookstore. I think in that case was like
La Francesa?
yeah, yeah, like the French bookstore. We call it La Libreria Francesa, which is like a French bookstore. You have like international comics, you know, like bande dessinée, which is the comics from the French. You have manga, which is the comics from the Japanese, and you have the American comics, which is from the American, of course. But you have all of these things going together. You have like heavy metal, which is like a super heavily detailed magazines from back then in the 80s and 90s, and then you have like a nice beautiful manga from the 80s as well. So everything was amazing. I spent most of my time like just going there and just like checking for free because I couldn't afford those books. They're very expensive for me, all right? But then I was like just telling my parents constantly like I just want to do this for the rest of my life. I don't know what is that. So back then the closest career path that was probably touching the surface of that was graphic design. You know, just forget about the illustration, forget about animation, forget about filmmaking. There's nothing like that before, right? Those careers didn't exist, and if they exist, there probably was not like a very good ones because I mean there's no market, there's no industry, nothing. But I didn't care. I was like, okay, if this career in some way and somehow has like some illustration major, I take it. I don't care. Of course, my parents were super worried, like dude, how you gonna survive? How you gonna pay your food? How you gonna how you gonna afford a life with that, right? I mean, that's normal. Parents get worried about your kids, their kids, and of course, you're choosing like an art career over like something that is commonly used, like oh, you want to be a doctor or engineer. It's like that's mostly and it's still happening nowadays, right? And it's the safest spot, right? Because I mean, we need that. We need doctors, right? But I think it's more about like I was living more into not my own fantasy. I was not delusional. I was just more I was more committed that I want to achieve it. I really believe it. I wasn't like I didn't have like crazy opportunities or everything was like you know like hell for me in a silver plate. It was more like like just believe and enjoy the path, right? Because I was enjoying that. Every day I was learning things. At college, I started studying graphic design, and everything that I learned was like more with that focus. Fortunately for me, I got the best teachers ever because they taught me really valuable lessons about like you know learning things in the right way. You know, it's not just about sitting there and do pretty pictures. I have to learn like for 2 years art history, design history, cinema, photography, history of humanity, right? And maybe at the beginning I was like, why I need that? That's so boring. But then when I was diving into the whole curriculum or in the studies, I realized that that thing is very, very, very important. You have to be very well educated in order for you to become an artist, in order for you to become a critical thinker, in order for you to become a builder, a designer, right? Because like 500, 500, 1000, 2000, 7000 years ago, the people doing my job, they were probably Egyptians, they were like Sumerians, ancient civilizations building their culture, right? And they build through designers. The designers, they need to translate how the culture, how their civilization was defined, how they create those deities, the gods, all these mythologies, reading that, engraving that in walls, carving that in the rock, putting that in beautiful paintings, pictures, everything was there. On that time, they were called maybe the artists or the architects. Nowadays, we have designers, right? But I cannot know that. I cannot value that if I don't know history, right? And then I keep learning more stuff about the utility of whatever you're designing is not just for you, it's also to serve people, to communicate to people, and also entertain people, right? In a very nice, interesting, deeper level. And after I finished that, I started working in education. I started working with the startups doing video games. That's where I met you. Back then, like I think at that time was with like a startup company in some way. Then I met like other guys, very talented people, and in some way I kickstart my career working on that with that mindset that let's do it, right? Let's start building this. And like one thing start leading the other, right? Because you start getting hungry. The good thing about being in South America and not having too many opportunities, not having like things being held by silver plate, is that you're hungry, right? You have to compete with people that probably are in US or Europe, right? They have everything, right? They have the education system, they have everything served for them to learn these things. I didn't have that, which in some way allows me to be more hungry. I really wanted to do it. I want to learn no matter what. So I was constantly hungry to get there, right? So I was working on that industry back in my country, and then I have the chance to. I said like, why not? I need to go and I need to fight with the best. I need to prove myself, right? I cannot just think or imagine things. I really need action. For some reason, I just like found like some vacancy back then in New Zealand to work at Weta, right? And I was like, I don't care. I mean, those vacancies back then, they need you to have experience, and need this and that. They say, I don't have it. I don't care. I will learn. So I apply. I just sent like a very, very genuine cover letter. Uh, it seems that they like it because I was very honest. I said like, I don't have the experience that you want, but I can learn the stuff. You just give me the chance to prove myself, and I prove to you that I'm worth it. So it seems that they like that kind of cover letter. A few weeks later, I had an interview with the head art director of that company, which, by the way, he was the old school artist who did work for Spielberg, George Lucas, and I mean he is a legend. And that was the guy like mentoring me 6 months later. He was like my first mentor. And after working there in at Weta Digital, I jumped to work at Weta Workshop, which is the studio that developed the Lord of the Rings, District 9, King Kong, Avatar. Like it's very iconic. So I start
Wait, wait,
working.
wait, 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 wait.
What's
Ed,
that?
I have to interrupt you here, brother,
Oh, bro,
because
bro.
okay, there's a moment you send that application to Weta Digital.
Yep,
You say like, I don't have the experience, I don't have these, but I'm hungry as hell. And
exactly.
how was the moment, or how did you, were you visualizing that was gonna happen? Were like, was it in your head, or dude, because that's a bet not many people make, but is the bet everyone should be making. And what was going through your head that at that moment, and what happened when you got an answer from them, bro? Like, how
Okay,
was the
yeah,
party?
absolutely. That was like man, that's a Rocky Balboa thing, man. I was day and night eating, sleeping, pooping that in my head every time in my head. Like I wake up with one only purpose: go work with them. I was eating with one only purpose: go work with them. I was not doing anything else, just like training my ass off, working my ass off to be with them, right? So that there's no shortcut, man. It was just pure fucking hard work and passion. Just every day. You just again Rocky Balboa shit. You wake up early, you just do your training, you do your diet, you fight 5 times, and then you sleep, repeat the same thing. I was exactly the same mindset, man. I was just work, learn, study, learn what they do. Like I have to fill the gaps on my own. I didn't know how to train myself to be a concept artist. So beef with it, learn and suck it up. You have to learn more than these guys. You have to learn how to speak English, learn how to fucking speak English. Then you have to learn French. If you're gonna go to France, you have to learn fucking French, right? So you have to work your ass off, right? But it was not painful, man. It was just exciting. It was the best years of my life because it was like 101. It's like you want to prove yourself. You have to test how much you can do. You have to test your endurance. You have to test everything. Like I'm just like any human being, man. Was not like, oh yeah, you're talented, you know how to draw. Doesn't matter, man. If you don't do, if you don't put the work, the hours, all the stuff is nothing. You have to just leverage on that. You have to keep working harder, 5 times more than those guys. Then when I was there, was amazing, man. Was really amazing because when I received the news, I was like, holy shit! This it's like it makes sense, right? It's like if you just work too hard, you get something, right? Even if you don't get the job, you get better. You transform yourself in a better version. For me, my goal was like, okay, I will not get defeated. I will try one, two, 3,000 times if I have to. I make a promise with myself when I watch the trilogy of Lord of the Rings. I was like, wow, that movie in 2001. I remember, man. It was like that shit was so mind blowing, man. I watched those movies. I was like, that shit is another level. Like that thing is so fucking epic. That's amazing. I want to work with these guys. Since I watched those movies, I said I want to work with those guys, right? So since day one, I just put my calendar. I was like, that's my goal. I don't mind doing anything. I just want to go there, right? So when they gave me the heads up, it's like, okay, dude, that we like your interview, we like because they put me a test also. They put me a test, and I was like, okay, I just have to do everything, right? I have to make my best of my best. I don't sleep, I don't care. And then after a week, I received a notification that, oh, you got accepted, right? The art director liked your work, they liked your stuff, and we're gonna start doing that. So I was like, oh man, that was just so epic, man. I was like I couldn't believe it. It was very surreal for me. It's just for me like I don't know like getting I imagine that you're a football player just getting hired by the Real Madrid or Barcelona or something like that, right? So it's like a
It's a
long hard
major
work.
move, dude. It's like from Colombia, getting there, starting with not having any fucking idea on how to do it, just having kind of like a dream, and then just making it into Weta. They're doing Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and all those things. It's like, dude,
Yeah, that that,
it's
that, that was. But I'm telling you, man, it's not like I was like playing with the dice or playing in a casino for luck, right? This is just hard work, man. Like if you ask a boxer, hey dude, you're lucky, dude, man. A boxer he put a lot of hours working out to be a good boxer, man. There's no shortcut on this. Like you have to be good, you have to build yourself. It doesn't matter. It is not about talent. It's just hard work. And and also for me, it proves me that it's not about where you're coming from, man. Like the main question was like, if they have two hands, I have two hands, I can do it as well, right? So it's more about like, yes, I admire them, I respect them, they're the best. But if they can do it, I can do it. I don't care, right? So this is more about the the mentality back then. Like eye of the tiger kind of thing. Like just training like crazy. It's just a lot of passion and sweat and tears. But it is fun. It's fun because you're chasing a dream, right? Nowadays it's different, right? Of course, you have technology. Everything is much more globalized, right? But back then, you don't have much of these things. You don't have like a portfolio, art station, or it was less, was was more, like the tools were not that available for you back then, which was cool in some way. Limitations makes you challenge yourself even more, right? But back again, of course, I was I was aware of digital, and then I was like, okay, was like a small short-term project, like 6 months, and they told me, okay, this is finished. Sorry, Eduardo, blah blah blah. And I was like, you know what? I will not surrender. I will apply for the next door studio, which is where a workshop is a different studio, right? One is where a digital, one is where a workshop. They are same brand, different purposes. So that one was another test, another interview. All right, it was not like oh just go there, No, 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 no. They just put me there 3 weeks to test in a real project, and I was working with the best of the best. So imagine like Predator, the movie, right? That you have a platoon with five badasses, right? It's like everyone there was a freaking badass, right? Every artist there was the best of the best, like seasoned artists, right? All of them been working Lord of the Rings, District 9, King Kong back then, right? So those guys are hardcore. I was like, shit. I was the rookie there, man. I was like the newbie, the new guy, like, oh, what are you, And it was okay. 3 weeks. They put me in the Lions Den, right? I was like, okay, I have a real project, real pressure, and I have to be at the par with these badasses, right? Fuck it, let's do it. I'm not here on vacation. I'm here to prove myself, right? I did a lot of training, so I can take it. I worked for 3 weeks non-stop, and the guys like it. The head of the studio like it, which is Richard Taylor, which is the co-founder with Peter Jackson of that studio. So that guy's another legend. He liked it. He's like, okay, so welcome to the team. I received my badge. I received my first scars. So it's like, welcome to the team. It's like, holy shit, unbelievable. So it was more like a Shaolin temple. So very far away, training with the best of the best, hardcore training. And after the 3 weeks of like the test, they dropped me into another huge project. The best project of my life back then was the trilogy of The Hobbit. And I was like, dude,
Dude, you don't know what's happening to me while you tell this story.
no, no, man, dude,
Dude,
you just look back then, 13 years later, oh, The Hobbit, yeah, that movie was a long time ago. Back then, Peter Jackson, when he did Lord of the Rings, when I received my first project of The Hobbit, I just looked back when I was in high school, making the promise, man. I said, fuck, I did it, man. So I was, oh shit, that's the best, man.
dude, pure alchemy. That's pure alchemy, as you said it at the beginning, brother. That's
Was like, oh, that's insane, man. I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy shit, I'm touching that franchise with my hands. I can't believe it. I can't believe, and I just, well, let me do some concept art. Let me just do the right thing. Let me just reread the fucking books, and let me just be part of that legacy. And it was the best time of my life, man. I just working the three movies, the best directors ever, the best artists ever. I was looking at the stage, how they build the miniatures, how they build the sets. I learned from those guys not only just to produce images, man, like the way how these guys think on our level, world building, right? Like the way how they build things. It's like mind blowing. I mean, movies is probably too little to describe what these guys actually do because the world building process was so crazy, man. It was like the lessons, the things that I've been learning when I was there, like too many projects, man. I was working simultaneously in another projects, science fiction stuff, fantasy stuff, doing theme parks, doing a lot of shit, real things. And I mean, the level of expertise that these guys have, I mean, I just had heads down, man. I mean, for me, it's still the best of the best. I mean, you can watch movies where these guys work. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. But when you go there and you see exactly and actually what they're doing and how they manage it, it's like, I mean, these guys are world builders, man. Nothing, nothing to do with that. It's like that's insane. And they're still using technology from all the school technology, like animatronics and all the stuff, like how the movies were made in the 70s and 80s, because that fits
Wow.
realism. And they hire real engineers to do robotics. They hire real like these guys building like medieval swords, and they build that in a traditional way. They don't just manufacture stuff. They build in a traditional way. The chainmails, the swords, the armors, handmade like 500 years ago. Exactly the same techniques, right? So
Wow.
the level of detail, the level of passion is something that I never imagined that. I no wonder that's why the Lord of the Rings is Lord of the Rings. I mean, you can watch Game of Thrones, whatever, right? But you can Game of Thrones cannot happen if the Lord of the Rings don't happen, right? So it
Yeah.
definitely changed. It definitely changed fantasy. It changed the genre. It changed everything, right? It's like, holy shit, that's so dope. I can't believe that those things can exist and inspires a lot of IPs, inspire a lot of movies, inspire like Blade Runner does all the time. Blade Runner inspire a lot of movies nowadays, right? And it's still because those
Yeah.
things stays on time because of the way how they've been built that, the way how they develop that, and the state of art of those movies back then. And still, maybe 50 years, Blade Runner is still kicking ass. Lord of the Rings is still kicking ass. And even today, they still cannot replicate that level of quality and world building because it's because showrunners they just think about making things fast, but not making things right, right? But again, that's a personal thought. That's just my personal opinion.
Dude, but this is like I'm because we don't have the time to go all over your journey because your journey is huge and amazing. But
Yeah.
I do remember that after this, you also got in yourself like you needed to teach and give back to people what you had learned and give others the opportunity you didn't have to pursue their passion and their dreams. And that became also an obsession, and you also went on that side trying to, yeah, to educate people and share the knowledge, how did that happen? Because I'm working in the Hobbit, every project is bigger, every project is more
Yeah.
amazing. When do you get that calling?
No, no, dude. Since back then, when I was working my ass off, I was teaching as well back then. I was working with you at the office, but I was part time in working as a design teacher as well. I was like building, it's helped to build like a new curriculum. Back then, they were trying to mix industrial design and graphic design in one. So I came from graphic design. So back then they're trying to mix both, and I was part of the curriculum program in the build up of the communication design, which is graphic design. So since then, I was also very open and keen to like teach, and I like to constantly teach and share all this knowledge. And I always go hand in hand. It's not that I was working on this and then I jump to education. I was working simultaneously hand in hand with education before I was working in film, and during and after I was working in film. It's always been part of my journey. It's about like how you share that in education spaces. Nowadays, everything, of course, could be more like a Zoom calls, digital e-learning kind of thing. But back then, I personally prefer more the physical mentorship, which allows me to interact directly with the students. Yeah, I mean, I was working in New Zealand and I finished my journey there. I just migrated to Singapore. I was doing the same exact stuff, and then I was like have the chance to work with another institution academy in Malaysia. I think it's if some Malaysians in the audience probably they may know. If not, it's called TOA. It's very well known academy in Southeast Asia. So was very amazing. I was part of building the entertainment design program with them, which is entertainment means that it's for movies, video games, everything that belongs to the entertainment ecosystem. But yeah, simultaneously, I was working on that and also working on movies independently. Um, Sometimes like doing freelance projects, freelance gigs. Some of those freelance gigs includes the Luc Besson Lucy, which is like a science fiction movie with Scarlett Johansson about AI uh, 8 years ago. During that time, I was also working. I start my journey with another major house, which is Lucasfilm Industrial Light and Magic, which is another major was another bucket list. I was like, okay, I need to work with the guys who did Lord of the Rings, and now I need to work with the guys who did Star Wars. So I was like, I have to get the best of the best. If I want to be good, I need to fight with the best. I need to learn from the best. So the experience there was another journey, another story, a lot of learning experiences, beautiful projects. I work a lot of movies. Ready Player One was one of those. Transformers, Bumblebee, The Mummy. I did work a little bit on the Rings of Power, which I mean it was okay, but totally different from my experience back then. But I was able and fortunate to work again in Middle Earth. Was very nice experience to see how it's gonna be this kind of process nowadays. Probably the latest project that I was working with them, I think was Dungeons and Dragons, but that was like maybe 3 years ago. Nowadays, I'm just working mostly independently, and I'm just jumping. I don't know for just universal reasons. I don't know why the universe just take me to different paths. I'm now switching to from live action to animation. So 2 years ago, I think, yeah, 2 years ago, I was now working on a TV show for Disney Plus. It's an animation feature. So it's gonna be probably feature in 2 months or something. I don't know. I don't have the dates. But what's amazing, I have the chance to world build and art build the whole project from the scratch in animation, a total different realm. So it's like jumping from soccer to basketball, something like that. So I'm now playing ball in animation, which is amazing. Nowadays, animation is more experimental. I mean, you used to watch like DreamWorks or Pixar movies, and that's it. But in the last couple of years, now you have Love, Death, and Robots. You have different anthologies. You have like Spider-Verse. So there's a lot of styles go there. There's a lot of styles happening right now. I feel fortunate that I'm now part of this new way of exploring new styles for the mainstream media.
Dude, that's every story you tell is kind of like a dream come true. And I remember going to Alvaro Villa's studio for animatronics in Los Angeles and just flipping. I was talking to Yoda. That world is my world. I know this might seem like a very geeky conversation for many people, but this is about making your dreams happen, pushing, working, learning, like visualizing what's in the future, what you want and what you can achieve, and having no limits. It's like I don't see limits in your head. I see challenges. I see a growth mindset all the time, and I fucking loving it, dude, because I really admire you. And and now more that I know more about your journey. But I do have one question, because no hero's journey comes without the struggle and without the darkness and without all of that.
Without
So
death and resurrection.
exactly. So I want to be. How many times have you died and resurrected, and what was the toughest one?
Well, I think like almost died. I mean, is the best part. I mean, all the transitions when I jump from one studio to another studio, I did like a summary. But to jump to one studio, even coming to Singapore was like a almost like I mean metaphorically speaking, like almost dead experience. Like when you feel that everything is against you, you almost defeated. You're just hitting hitting like your worst, right? You don't have anything. But for some reason, when you rise again, you get stronger and faster and bigger, right? It's like you're just like kneeling down. You're down, and people think, oh, you're defeated. No, no, actually, no. I'm kneeling down because I'm taking impulse to jump higher, right? So every time that I was like moving, even moving to Singapore was not that fun. There's a lot of really, really ugly experiences here. I got cheated twice trying to build my own studio and company. I lost everything. Like my business partner took everything. I had nothing. Really ugly experience, but I learned my lessons and I see life differently. I learned a lot of stuff. So before you die, you learn a lot how to live. So the near-death experience made me much better and resilient and stronger to anything, right? And any situation. I mean, not only just at work, in personal life, right? Because there's a lot of crises. Everything is not just like, oh, everything was good, everything was amazing. There's a lot of hardships, there's a lot of difficulties, there's a lot of health issues, there's a lot of like moments in your life that not everything is working. But actually, those are the ones that are testing you and making you a much better person, right? Ultimately, I mean, it's not about how many things I achieve or I've been doing or what I'm gonna do. This at the end of the day, it's just my journey, right? It's just my own race. So I don't like to compare myself to anyone, or I don't like to see my level of success of what's going on social media, for example. I don't measure that. For me, it's about like what I did, and all the dreams that I wanted to have, all the things that I dreamed when I was a kid. If those things are happening, it's because I was very loyal to that little kid, right? That little kid wanted to be a good illustrator. He wanted to work in beautiful movies, do fantasy worlds. I just want to do it. I want to honor that kid. That's the only thing that it just keeps me, like thinking about what is the most important thing, right? So I don't care what's going on. And of course, I mean, there's a lot of things going on in the future to have like this AI thing moving here and there, and it's freaking out a lot of artists. And personally, I think those are just moments or stuff that are just happening, lining up, just just as everything, right? It's the way how we embrace those things. The way how I embrace AI as an artist or working in this industry is more like the way how a chef embraces a microwave, right? And the end of the day is a tool, and ultimately the one who is cooking, building the recipes, and creating the food is the chef, right? The microwave is just like overcooking or warming up what is already been designated. So that's the way how I take it. Or artists, of course, my peers take it in a wrong direction. They take it that it's going to be replacing them. And unfortunately, I mean, I understand where their sentiments coming from, because I'm not ignorant to what's going on. I mean, like, it would be nice to develop AI for more utilitarian purposes, like, like fix the eyes of someone, curing cancer or something. But instead, it's just building something to replace creativity, which is something that is more human, right? I think like we should maybe let the AI to take task over technicalities, so we have more time for ourselves to develop deeper understandings of who we are as creatives, and instead of replacing or letting a machine do the creative thing. So I think being creative is very important. We have to use those tools responsibly, because it's just there, right? It's not like a Pandora box. You just open the Pandora box, AI just flew away. But I think we have to be uh, very responsible of how to use that. From my part, I will try to, educate how to understand these tools, because you can do a lot of things, right? But it's not about doing a lot of things. It's about doing the right things and utilizing AI as a tool to accelerate and to facilitate certain processes, but not to ultimately do their job, because the job is your job, right? So AI, as any tool, is just to facilitate the process. So maybe my message, maybe for young generations or for people that are entering the AI, or people that are artists or not artists, is like, it's a tool, right? Just bear in mind that creativity is a very, very deeper exercise. It's a state of mind. It's not just a prompt. It's not something that happens in seconds. You need to come with an idea. You have to come to an understanding, and then if something or someone is helping you to facilitate that, utilize it. But just understand that those tools are just facilitating. You have to do the other 50 or 60% of the work, which is put your soul on that, put your voice on that. That's probably the important factor. It's going to keep evolving in 50 years, 5 years, even in 2 years. I don't know what AI will be doing. Hopefully, it will do something more for humanity. I don't know, like fixing the spine or someone, like, or the bone replacement. I don't know. But if it goes just in this way that is going, like very rogue, because I mean, it was essentially designed not for, like something to, oh, let's try. There's a lot like a lot of need to this. There was no need for this actually, but it's happening. And this keeps growing. If it's growing, let's try to be more responsible of how we use it. Um, and again, yeah, it's everything. I'm very, very positive of all of these technologies. Also, I mean, like sometimes when you talk to someone that kind of express those ideas visually as the way I express, someone probably needs to communicate those ideas, and I will understand them, and I can help that person to enhance those ideas to a next level. So I will be very happy to be an ambassador and a recipient of those ideas to someone that cannot express that and use the AI to help to facilitate that. I'm totally aware. I'm happy to support that idea as well. So it's
Dude.
more about the communication. It's more about like understanding things. I will never be against any creative process, against anyone that wants to explore this beautiful world of art, because art is for everyone. So,
I know, and it's the maximum expression. There's a joke, like, people that are trying to make money, and once they make money, they start buying art because they realize the money wasn't there, and they start painting and they start writing poetry. They end up connecting with the art because they realize that shit, it wasn't the money. It is the art. But then you have the artists who are struggling and looking for the money. So there's a big disconnection in the systems and the way they work. And hopefully my as you said it, AI and an abundance system. It can happen, and that's why I'm obsessed with Web3, decentralization, artificial intelligence, and education, and leapfrogging third world countries into the future to find the potential for creativity. That's my personal obsession. That's my personal journey, though. But you are it. You are the example. You are the master. You are the sensei, bro. And I know here in our audience, there are a bunch of people creating in different levels. We have video creators, we have writers, we have techies, we have everyone, but we all connect because gaming is the way we use for connection, for creating relationships, for meeting each other, and that's our activity pretty much every day. So I want to do two things. One is an invitation to you to have a conversation, and we can have it. Rabbit is here, a deeper conversation at what we're trying to achieve. I would love to tell you about the DEGA project and our dreams, and welcome you here and open the doors of the whole project, the whole community, and everything in DEGA to you. It's not me. It's a project of everyone. So, but I would love if the rabbit comes to the stage and tells you, or talks about a little bit about that. And the other one is questions. Is like, I cannot imagine what's going on in Ray's head. It's like, what's happening inside Star or Crypto Father. It's like, what are you thinking, guys? What are the questions? Trust me, this is one of those moments that you have someone really, really, really special. So ask your questions, because we all need this type of mentors. We all need this type of teachers, these senseis. This is Wu-Tang Clan level. So the Shaolin going all in. So I don't know who raise your hands if you have questions or comments. Rabbit, I'm inviting you. I don't know if you can speak. Usually it's too early for you, but I'm inviting you to the state. And Ray, did you raise your hand? Who raised his hand? Who raised the hand? Oh, Ray. Yeah.
Hey, Freak. Hey, Ed, thanks so much for coming today. I really, really appreciate it. We probably have a lot of friends in common based on your history. So I don't want to really go into that right now. We've only got, I think, only 4 minutes left. So why don't we, let's do a follow-up after this, and we can talk about DEGA, talk about who we know and where things might cross over. I mean, that's kind of like Freak and I go off on our little corner and talk about, entertainment, gaming industry stuff. And we'd like to invite you to that circle, and maybe we can do a follow up and talk about this. And it is 7 o'clock in the morning for me right now, so I wasn't really prepared too much to be able to talk too much about anything other than drinking coffee and listening to you. So why don't we leave it for everyone else to ask their questions? And I don't want to take the stage. We'll let others take the stage this morning.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Rabbit. And yes, Ed, we gotta keep this conversation going, bro. And we got little Ray in the house. What's up, brother? Throw your question.
Hello, everyone. Good day, and thank you very much, Eduardo, because we've really waited for today. I just, I think you've been really clear about everything you said, and I don't know if a lot of people have questions. I don't think they have questions, so I just want you to answer this for us because you're like a shining light to a lot of us now. The only thing I want to ask is, what would be your advice to someone who's listening to you today and just wants to be as great as you? Thank you.
Oh, well, thanks for the question. I think regardless of regardless of the background, regardless of all the like limitations that we put in our minds, in ourselves, thinking that we are not worthy for anything because of our background or our like anything, like all those traps that we put in our heads. I think we should just get rid of those. We have to put like we need to start creating our own hit, like earphones, right? We have like earphones just to listen what we need to listen. It's just ourselves telling all the time that we need to achieve any goal. And we need to wear the glasses to visualize exactly where we're gonna go. So we need to avoid the noise, we need to avoid insecurities, we need to avoid social media toxic elements, and we just need to believe constantly. It sounds cliche, but we have to just keep moving forward, right? I mean, like things have a reward if you put the hard work. That's simple logic. That's simple physics. If you just train hard every day with one goal, only one goal, it will happen. Not probably the way you imagine, but it will happen. And again, it's just getting rid of the extra noise that is not worth it. So I would just advise just like be passionate all the time. Not every day is sunny. Just make use of your good energy in the rainy days. Just make yourself comfortable for the journey because that's what it matters, right? At the end of the day, is our own journey, is our movie, right? It's our history, and we have to build ourselves as the main character of that movie.
Dude, amazing. I wrote down headphones and glasses. The headphones and the glasses you needed. Edu, bro, thank you very much for this really valuable time. You made my whole week, probably month, I don't know, but I'm really happy. I still remember those times where we were trying to build the animation studio in what used to be my apartment, and the struggle and losing all the money, all that fucking hell. That was part of my dark times, by the way. That's when I died the first time and then resurrected. But that goes for a longer whiskey talk, my friend. Thank you very much for sharing that. The alchemist in the house, bro. So thank you, Ed. Last words, and we say bye. It's 10 o'clock here. So
My pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me. So anytime, anywhere, I mean, just pin me, and I will be very, very happy and delighted to, like to share and to also, like just listen to stuff and talk stuff. And it seems that we're connecting, and it's my ultimate pleasure to just being able to share this with everyone. Hopefully, it resonates in a good way, and just inspire you a little bit.
Thank you very much. This was DEGA Talks with Edu. Another session, amazing magic happening here, pure alchemy. I invite you all for everyone to share. Let's invite the community to look at his work. And we got his lessons, and let's do it. Put on your headphones, wear your glasses, and focus in one goal and go after them, because anything can happen. It doesn't matter where you start. It matters where you're going. And if you have your hands, your brain, your abilities, you can achieve it. Those are some of the lessons I take home from this. Thank you very much, everyone, for making this happening, for listening. And I hope that it will serve you as it has served me. So see you in the next DEGA Talk. Tomorrow we have Town Hall. So I guess we will talk some more tomorrow about